Greetings, fellow moviegoers, and welcome to Movie Central, the place to talk about movies, TV shows based on movies, toys based on movies, games based on movies, and rides based on movies. I'm your host, Mr. CCS, and this is my pet gorilla, George. Anime. In regards to animation, a lot of people recognize the American culture of animation, which is either really good or really cheaply replicated. Modern Pixar. However, what most people also love to recognize is Japanese animation, also known as anime. With countless properties form, a big fan base, and oversaturation with Pokemon, Japanese anime takes the world by storm to this day, even years after it was first created. Animation in Japan dates back to the early 20th century, with the first films dating back to 1907. But the modern style that most people recognize was invented in 1956. Heck, several of the most iconic films that Japan has produced are anime films, especially when they tried to pay homage to the sci-fi genre in 1988. This movie broke new ground and became a science fiction classic for many, as it was not only a success in Japan, but also in other countries of the world. But, as I have proven time and time again on this show, success does not mean everything. Today, we're looking at Akira. So the story is... What story? Honestly, from what I pieced together, it seems that this movie was set in a dystopian future and that there are violent, bloody gang wars and an evil scientific corporation that tries to replicate people and turn them into gods. But honestly, that's the stupidest thing I've ever said/heard, and makes me feel like I'm watching a Japanese knockoff of Blade Runner. That's exactly what I consider this movie, a very distinct Japanese ripoff of Ridley Scott's Blade Runner. Call me distinctly Western all you like, but that was the main criticism that came to my head in regards to the story. But you know me, there are other aspects that can make a movie good or bad. The story does not necessarily have to bring it all the way down. So, are the other aspects of this movie good or bad? Let's find out. I'm going to say right off the bat that the English speaking actors in the dubbing for this film were absolutely awful. No disrespect to them, I assume they had a great time working on this project. But I feel like the direction they were given just screams over the top and cringy at times. I'd say I'd probably watch a subtitled version with the original Japanese audio, as that could probably make it better. I have seen several animes in which this English dub did not do justice to the great storytelling that the original had. These two in particular. But when I watched Akira dubbed, as this was the only version available to me, I didn't have strong attachments to the characters at all. The only one I did have attachment to turned out to be a crappily written villain. There are a lot of weird choices that were made for the character, such as a stereotypical military leader that just wants a promotion, among many other stupid stereotypes. In my experience of anime properties, they typically go for the unexpected as opposed to playing into the American cliches. This movie does not do that, as instead, it chose to go with the American cliches. Because the character we have are the tough military guy who just wants to do his job but sucks at it, compared to Rick Deckard from Blade Runner, the cliched girl character that falls in love with the main character randomly, compared to Rachel from Blade Runner, the crazy psychopath villain who makes weird noises compared to Roy from Blade Runner. And of course, while not a character, the pacing is on par with the original Blade Runner's terribly awful pacing. So needless to say, it's the English language dub that is a Blade Runner knockoff. This dub also did nothing for the characters, as I said, and made them unlikable, one-dimensional cartoon characters when compared to some other anime properties I've seen where the characters act like human beings in a live-action movie. So while the characters suck due to their horrible dub, is there anything this movie does right? Yes, the animation is very pretty and still holds up from 1988. What were our other animated options from 1988? Roger Rabbit, Oliver and Company, The Land Before Time. All of these movies look great, but Akira looks better than two of them. It still doesn't look as good as Roger Rabbit, in my opinion. Still, though, for an R-rated animated film, it may not be fair to compare this movie to aimed at a younger audience. The animation had a very unique style, something that modern day Pixar could learn from. What about the music? Does that hold up? Well, to put it bluntly, no. No, it doesn't. It feels like the music doesn't even complement the story of the movie like it should. It just feels like there is no reason. Again, this is all just one man's opinion, though. I may not understand what this movie is like due to the cultural and time differences. Still, sci fi is one of my favorite genres in regards to storytelling, and this movie did a piss poor job, or at least the English dub did, at showcasing the genre. I am sorry for fans of this movie, but I'd say the English dub gets a 3 out of 10. I assume the Japanese dub makes up for it. Already, I watched the original Japanese trailer, and I would totally go see that movie if it was released or available. Well, that's it for this review. Yes, nitpicking Mr. CCS is back. Feel free to leave your thoughts on the original English dub or original Japanese version below, and tune in next week when I take a look at another animated film from Japan and from the sci-fi genre. With that said, my name is Mr. CCS, this is Movie Central, and that, my friends, is a wrap. See y'all next week.